If you live in the United States, you'll agree with me that many African immigrants and Black Americans are not truly connected.
Dr. G. Real stories, real people, unpacking the struggles, reclaiming the narratives with Dr. G.
If you live in the United States, you'll agree with me that many African immigrants and Black Americans are not truly connected. We work in the same places, we worship in the same places, we study in the same places, but the truth is that we are not really connecting with each other. We rarely have real friends who I'm talking about, friends who visit each other, share deep stories of themselves. I mean, like real family level kind of trust. And I'm not saying this to blame anyone. I only say this because I believe we're losing something very powerful when we stay away from each other. I've spoken to a couple of people, both African immigrants and African Americans. There are three main reasons and common misunderstandings that I've heard across both sides. The first one borders around historical wounds and, of course, the fresh survival mode. Historical wounds, of course, from our brothers and sisters here in the United States, and fresh survival modes from African immigrants. Our African American brothers carry the weight of segregation, slavery, and systemic racism that has been in this land for ages. That history is not theory, it's not just something that somebody wrote in a book. It is real life, the real lived experiences of our brothers and sisters in the United States, which still persist today. We're talking about real trauma that still shapes daily life. Many African immigrants, of course, come here and they're laser focused on the survival, get grounded quickly, get jobs, build quickly for people back at home mostly. Of course, sometimes our African American brothers and sisters read this as though we are disinterested about the struggles of Black people in America. They find us too proud, too distant. And yes, some of us have actually entrenched that in the way we behave, in the way we talk, name calling, in the way we perceive our brothers and sisters here. And yes, most African immigrants, they come here and they say, hey, I didn't create this problem. I'm just trying to survive. I've got a ton of people on my shoulder. I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to get something for myself. And I see two different pain, like real pain. And both of these pain keep talking through each other without resting, without stopping to listen, to hear, to understand each other. The second thing, of course, is the stereotype on both sides. Too many African immigrants come to the United States with stories from the media that have unfortunately shaped their perceptions about African Americans. They say they are too lazy, they are too violent, they are irresponsible. And on the other hand, too many African Americans have been served very, very harmful narratives about Africans. They say they are too backward, not sophisticated, and they are needy people, poor people, who come here to collect and take from taxpayers' money. Let's be honest, these stereotypes are lies, and they are powerful lies that we have internalized and believed for so long. They sit in our minds when we meet each other for the first time. And so instead of curiosity, there is suspicion. Instead of brother, sister, tell me your story, there is a quiet judgment that lies in both of our minds. And the misunderstanding is simple. When we meet each other for the first time, we don't meet the person, we meet the label that we have been fed. And the third thing is different cultures, one color, and false assumptions. The truth is, the world has become so racialized to the point where people are beginning to think that being black means one culture. Being white means one culture. There's nothing like a black culture. There's nothing like a white culture. We are different people influenced by different environment, and we have built different traditions, different cultures based on what we have in our surrounding environment. When African immigrants come to the United States, they come with language, they come with culture, they come with different ways of expressing respect and emotion. And usually this can feel very different, especially in a new place like America. When you come in contact with an African immigrant for the first time, they feel very different because we carry different elements of our culture. And let's not forget, a lot of us come here with the misconception that African Americans don't have a culture. No. They have built a culture of their own out of survival in this land. And their cultures carry codes, it carries rules, and of course it carries deep traditions. So the misconception is that because we carry the same skin color, we think that connection will be automatic. And guess what? When we see each other for the first time, when we meet each other for the first time, we get shocked. And when that connection doesn't come automatic, people feel rejected. As an African immigrant, you feel, oh, they don't like me because I do have an accent. And yes, we hear that every day in our workplace, at school, places of worship even. Oh man, your accent is too heavy, I can't understand you. We feel not wanted, we feel not accepted. And likewise, our brothers, African Americans, also feel like, oh, they feel they're better than us. And they hear this in places of work, in schools. But in reality, many of us are simply unsure how to approach each other without making mistakes. And here's what I believe. If African immigrants and African Americans really build solid relationships, visit each other, listen to each other's stories, and admit where we are ignorant or where we are wrong, I think we will be unstoppable. And our children will inherit unity, not distance. So if you have listened to this up to this point, I invite you to reflect. Have you ever invited someone into your real life? And I'm not talking about at your workplace or some public event. Have you ever invited somebody from the other side to your home, into your real life? Have you ever sat down to share stories of how you grew, the things you cherished, what you went through? Have you ever bothered to speak with someone what hidden beliefs you carry about each other and just have an open conversation? So I think it's time to talk, time to listen, and it's time to build bridges on purpose, intentionally. And if you care about Black stories, Black history, African immigrants, African Americans, Africans in the diaspora, check my YouTube channel, Dr. G, and follow Black Stories. And I invite you to join me in one of our conversations. Let's begin to build these bridges and change these narratives, because together, I tell you for sure, we are unstoppable.
Dr. G. Real stories, real people, unpacking the struggles, reclaiming the narratives with Dr. G.